Here in this question, uh, basically from these two are from laboratory perspective, and this is hydraulic fracturing and this is from CBM. So you can see the question is asking a multifaceted knowledge from different aspects. So asking which is incorrect from these four statements. You can see flash point is always lower than the fire point. Flash point is the lowest temperature at which no the vapor of the petroleum product mix with the air and catches the fire in the presence of source, but it is momentary and that is less than 5 seconds. And if that temperature, you are increasing the temperature and that is burning for greater than 5 seconds, then you call it, if you are burning for greater than 5 seconds, what you call it, that temperature, corresponding temperature is the fire point. That means if it is continuously burning when you are removing the source of ignition, when source of ignition is removed and it burns for less than 5 seconds, you call it the flash point. So always it happens that the flash point is less than the fire point. This is the correct one. The second is the pour point of the lube oil can be reduced by removing the wax from this. So wax is typically, it's called uh, aromatic polar and asphaltene. So these type of wax are present inside the particularly called heavy crude oil or waxy crude oil, where if temperature is lowered at some temperature, at temperature T, what you find that temperature is waxed crystallization temperature, and below that temperature, that this wax, this aromatic polar or asphalting kind of start crystallizing and building a structure where oil get trapped and could not flow. So that when below this, when crystallization of wax start, what you see that viscosity of oil is increasing drastically. So to prevent this, you add some polymer additives that you call it the pour point depressant. So this work, this uh, polymer effectiveness of this polymer additive depends on the different crude oils and their properties. So what is there, if we remove this wax from this crude, then hopefully, most of the time we can lower the pour point, that is the lowest temperature, this pour point, that is the lowest temperature at which the oil is pouring or flowing. If it starts, just lower, temperature is lowered and the style oil is still flowing, and that temperature is called, underline that lowest temperature, you call it the pour point. So this is also correct, because removing the wax material, you can lower the pour point. Particularly it is suggested that notable point is there, the operational temperature is called T operational, is should always be greater than the T, that is the pour point. Particularly in field like Mangla or the Rajasthan Barmer, where the cane is working, their crude is very waxy, and they have installed the heater in between the pipeline so that they could that temperature is always greater than the crystallization temperature, that pour point temperature, and they could make the oil flowing. The third point is fracturing a well is a stimulation technique. This is the well known, this is the simple one. So I won't discuss it later, but I will tell you one thing, that when you call it stimulation, that is always a one well phenomenon. That stimulation is always one or single well process. Either it is called hot oil stimulation, or it is called steam stimulation, or fracturing acidization, all are stimulation, you name it. This is the one single well phenomenon. Fourth is the coal bed methane typically contains more than 60% of CO2. This is the correct, sorry, this is not correct, because when you used to study the CBM, what you used to see, read that the CBM contains mostly CH4 and traces of CO2, SO2 and 2, like that gases. So majority of the gases, fraction of gases present in the CBM is the CH4, that is methane, not the CO2. So this is the wrong one. So obviously if it is asking that which is incorrect one out of these four, option will be D, where the coal bed methane is not having more than 60% CO2. Thank you.